Every family has secrets. Some families argue about who gets the bigger bedroom. Some fight over who controls the TV remote. My family's secret was heavier. We were sitting on an inheritance worth $50 million, and the money was already splitting us apart before it ever hit our bank accounts. In the middle of this storm was my brother Michael. From the outside, he looked like a normal guy in a normal relationship. But the closer you got, the stranger the story became. Michael had been dating a woman named Claire for almost 2 years. She was witty, bold, and always had a sharp comeback for everything. At first, she seemed like the perfect match. They moved into a small apartment together, decorated it with mismatched furniture, and told everyone they were building a future. But my sister Anna never trusted Claire. From day one, she said Claire was a schemer. She claimed Claire was only with Michael because she knew about the inheritance. Whenever Claire bought something new, Anna would say, "Look, she is already spending your share." It became a running fight. Every family dinner was tense. The turkey would be on the table, the mashed potatoes steaming, and Anna would throw out some sly comment like, "Not everyone at this table is here for love." Claire would respond with the smile so fake you could almost hear it creak. Michael sat between them, sweating into his napkin, pretending not to hear anything. Our parents had passed away a few years earlier, leaving behind $50 million tied up in property, investments, and accounts. The money was supposed to come to Michael and Anna once the paperwork was finished. On paper, it was simple, split between siblings. In reality, it was a ticking time bomb. Every conversation came back to the inheritance. If Michael wanted to go on a trip, Anna said, "You should be saving your share." If Claire mentioned moving into a bigger apartment, Anna hissed, "With what money? His or yours?" The air in the room grew heavier every time someone mentioned the future. Anna and Claire treated each other like lifelong enemies. At birthdays, Claire would bring expensive wine and Anna would say, "Too bad you cannot buy class with that." At Christmas, Anna gave Michael a gift card with a note that said, "Spend it before she does." Claire fired back by buying Anna a self-help book titled, "How to Be Less Bitter." Michael laughed nervously at both gifts, pretending everything was fine, but everyone saw the cracks. Friends noticed. Distant relatives whispered. The family gatherings became shows of fake smiles and hidden daggers. By the time Michael announced that Claire was moving in permanently, the house felt like a war zone. Anna rolled her eyes so hard she almost saw her brain. Claire responded by hugging Michael extra tightly, like she was claiming a prize. The money was not even in their accounts yet, but it already poisoned every conversation. Everyone could sense that something bigger was coming. The stage was set. A brother caught between his girlfriend and his sister, a fortune hanging over their heads, and a secret about to drop that would turn a cold rivalry into an all-out war. It was a Sunday night dinner at Anna's house. The table was set with pasta, garlic bread, and wine. Everyone was pretending to be civil, but the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Michael sat there sweating, twisting his fork in his hand. Finally, he cleared his throat and said, "I have something important to share." The room froze. Even the family dog stopped begging under the table. Claire reached over and grabbed Michael's hand, smiling nervously. He took a deep breath and said, "Claire is pregnant." Silence. The kind of silence that makes you wonder if time has stopped. Anna's fork clattered against her plate. She leaned forward, eyes wide. "She is pregnant with your child?" Michael nodded. Claire gave a shy smile, trying to soften the moment, but Anna's expression turned sharp. Instead of congratulations, she whispered coldly, "Do you even understand what this means for the inheritance?" Michael blinked. "This means I am going to be a father." Anna shook her head. "No, this means she just secured a claim to $50 million. Michael tried to calm his sister down. He said, "This is good news. This is family. You should be happy." But Anna slammed her hand on the table and shouted, "Happy? You think I should be happy that she trapped you? That she is carrying a ticket to my parents' fortune?" Claire finally spoke up, her voice shaking with anger. "This is not about money. I love him. We wanted this child." Anna laughed bitterly. "Love? You will be loving the luxury cars, the vacation homes, the bank accounts. You have been waiting for this moment since the day you met him." The wine glasses rattled as the tension rose higher. Michael stood up, red-faced, and shouted, "Enough! This is my child. Nothing you say can change that." He wrapped his arm around Claire, who was nearly in tears. Anna stood too, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. She pointed across the table at Claire. "I will not let you steal what belongs to me. That money is my inheritance, my blood, my right. You think a baby is going to give you everything, but I will fight you for it." The room felt like a battlefield. The garlic bread sat untouched, the pasta grew cold, and the air was thick with fury. Michael tried one last time to bring peace. He said, "We can share. The inheritance does not have to tear us apart. This child is family. We can make this work." Anna's eyes narrowed. Her voice dropped low, almost like a threat. "If you think I am going to stand by and let you and your girlfriend take half of what is mine, you are wrong. You will see me in court before that happens." Michael froze. Claire's eyes widened in disbelief. The family dog whimpered under the table. That was the moment everyone realized. The inheritance was no longer just money. It was a weapon. And Anna was ready to use it. 2 weeks passed after that explosive dinner. Michael tried to call Anna, but she ignored him every time. Claire tried sending texts, soft messages like, "We can work this out," but Anna left them unread. The silence was worse than shouting. It was the silence of someone planning. One cold morning, Michael went to his mailbox and found a thick, heavy envelope stamped with the seal of the county court. He tore it open in the kitchen while Claire made coffee. His face turned white. Inside were legal papers. His own sister was suing him. The demand was bold and terrifying. $50 million. Michael whispered, "She's actually doing this." Claire grabbed the papers, scanned them, and laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. "This is insane. She cannot sue you for being pregnant." But Michael's shaking hand said otherwise. The lawsuit accused Claire of manipulating Michael for financial gain. It claimed she had intentionally become pregnant to secure a share of the inheritance. Anna's lawyers wrote page after page about protecting family wealth, about rightful heirs, about betrayal. Michael sat at the table, reading the words over and over, his head pounded. Claire's smile faded. She said, "She actually wrote that I trapped you? She is painting me as a gold digger in court." Michael nodded, unable to speak. The coffee pot beeped. Neither of them moved to pour it. The smell of fresh coffee filled the kitchen, but the taste of betrayal was stronger. The news spread through the family like wildfire. Cousins called each other. Uncles whispered about it at work. Old friends from high school sent messages asking if it was true. Half of the relatives sided with Anna. They said Claire had been scheming all along. The other half said Anna had lost her mind, that suing her own brother was the cruelest act possible. Thanksgiving was canceled. Christmas was split into 2 gatherings. People started choosing sides like it was a civil war. Invitations were sent carefully, making sure not to put supporters of Michael and supporters of Anna in the same room. Michael went from being a man excited to become a father to a man who could not even walk into a grocery store without hearing whispers. Then came the reporters. Someone leaked the case to the local news. A headline popped up online. "Sister sues brother over $50 million inheritance." Michael's phone rang nonstop. Journalists wanted quotes. Strangers commented on his social media. Some people cheered for Anna, calling her brave for protecting family wealth. Others attacked her, calling her greedy. Claire's name was dragged through the mud. People posted photos of her shopping, claiming it proved she was obsessed with money. Old classmates wrote nasty comments, saying she had always been calculating. Claire sat on the couch crying while Michael deleted hundreds of messages. Michael tried to hold himself together, but the pressure mounted. He stared at the court date stamped in red at the top of the papers. The case was real. It was happening. He looked at Claire's belly where new life was growing and whispered, "This is not what I wanted for us." Claire grabbed his hand and said, "Then we fight. We fight for our child. We fight for our future." For the first time in his life, Michael realized that the inheritance, once a gift, had turned into a curse. His own sister was dragging him into court and the world was watching. The courthouse smelled like old wood and dust. Michael sat at the defendant's table with Claire by his side. She was nervous, her hands resting on her belly, her eyes darting around the crowded room. The benches behind them were full of family members, neighbors, and curious strangers. Reporters filled the back rows, pens and cameras ready. Across the aisle sat Anna. She wore a sharp black suit and looked like she had been preparing for this her entire life. Her lawyers had stacks of binders and folders piled high on their table. She refused to look at her brother. Instead, she whispered to her attorney with a smile that looked like victory before the case had even started. The judge entered, called for order, and the trial began. Anna's lawyer stood first. His voice was smooth and commanding. He declared that Claire had tricked Michael into fatherhood only to gain access to the inheritance. He called it a calculated move to secure wealth that rightfully belongs to Anna. The courtroom murmured. Cameras clicked. Claire's face turned red with fury. She whispered, "That is a lie." Michael squeezed her hand to keep her calm. When it was Michael's turn, his lawyer argued that love and family were not crimes. He said, "This child is not a financial strategy. This is a human life, created by two people who love each other." His words echoed, but you could feel the courtroom was divided. Some nodded, others shook their heads. Then came the testimonies. Anna took the stand. She spoke about loyalty, about how their parents worked their whole lives for that money, about how she would not stand by while an outsider took half of it. She pointed at Claire and said, "She is not family. She is a thief." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Claire jumped up and shouted, "How dare you call me a thief? I never asked for your inheritance. I only want to raise my child." The judge slammed the gavel and barked, "Sit down or you will be removed." Michael followed next, his voice shaking. He admitted he had made mistakes but said, "This child is mine. I take responsibility. Money cannot erase blood. Anna is my sister, but this is my family now." He looked at Claire, then at the judge, his eyes filled with desperation. By the second day, the courtroom no longer felt like a place of justice. It felt like a circus. Reporters snapped photos of Claire as she walked in. Headlines popped up online. Inheritance, baby scandal. People waved signs outside the courthouse. Some cheered for Anna, others for Michael. Inside, the shouting never stopped. Anna's lawyer showed pictures of Claire shopping, waving them like evidence of greed. Claire snapped back, "Those were my paychecks, not your inheritance." At one point, Grandma even took the stand, and her testimony was so bizarre that the judge had to ask her to repeat it twice. She rambled about promises, family legacies, and ended with, "I do not trust women who wear too much perfume." The courtroom laughed until the gavel came down again. By the third day, everyone looked exhausted. Michael had dark circles under his eyes. Claire sat hunched, her pregnancy showing more every day. Anna still looked sharp, fueled by anger and pride. The judge looked out over the chaos and said, "This case is not about perfume. This is not about who shouts the loudest. This is about law." His voice cut through the noise, and for the first time in weeks, the room went quiet. Michael sat there clutching Claire's hand, whispering to himself, "Please, let this end soon." The final day of the trial was tense. The courtroom was packed to the walls. Reporters stood shoulder to shoulder in the back. Family members sat stiffly on both sides, glaring at one another. Michael held Claire's hand tightly, his knuckles white. Anna sat tall and proud with her lawyers at her side, her lips pressed into a thin, confident smile. The judge entered, lifted the gavel, and announced, "This court has reached a decision." The air seemed to vanish from the room. Even the cameras stopped clicking. The judge read slowly, carefully, every word echoing like a hammer. He said there was no legal ground for Anna's lawsuit. A sibling cannot strip an unborn child of inheritance rights. The law was clear, the inheritance would remain intact, and Michael's child would be entitled to a fair share as family blood. Anna's face cracked. For the first time, she looked less like a warrior and more like someone who had just lost everything. She whispered to her lawyer, then stood abruptly and stormed out of the courtroom. The cameras followed her, shouting questions, but she said nothing. Michael sat frozen, the words still sinking in. Claire buried her face in his shoulder, sobbing with relief. Reporters rushed forward, flashing cameras in Michael's face. Microphones shoved toward him, voices shouting, "How do you feel? Do you think your sister will appeal? What about the baby?" Michael shielded Claire with his arm, whispering, "Ignore them. Just keep walking." They pushed through the swarm of cameras, down the courthouse steps, into a sea of noise and flashing lights. Strangers debated loudly outside. Some called Claire a hero for standing strong. Others called her manipulative, repeating Anna's accusations. Inside the courthouse, relatives argued. Some hugged Michael. Others muttered that he had destroyed the family legacy. The inheritance had survived, but the family bonds had not. That night, Michael sat at home. The house was quiet except for the soft hum of the fridge. Claire slept on the couch, exhausted, her hands resting gently on her belly. Michael walked over, touched the ultrasound photo pinned to the fridge, and stared at it. He whispered, "This child already changed everything." He thought about the inheritance, about the $50 million that had poisoned dinners, holidays, and even blood ties. He realized that no amount of money could replace the sister he had lost. Michael sat back down at the table, the same table where he had once announced the pregnancy, the same table where everything started. He looked around the quiet apartment and said softly to himself, "Family should not be measured in money. It should be measured in love." But I guess some people never learned that. The story ended there. The inheritance was safe, the baby was safe, but the family was broken, torn apart by greed and fear. Thanksgiving dinners would never look the same again. And as Michael turned off the light, the only thing left was the echo of what the judge had said. The law can protect inheritance, but it cannot protect a family from itself. This is the end of that story. Now tell me in the comments, what was your most embarrassing story? I'll read out the funniest ones in the next video. Do not forget to hit a like button and subscribe. See you.